People are looking for avenues of different ways of entertaining themselves. Gaming as a form of mass entertainment. It's music, it's art, it's fashion, it's food. I don't think there's any type of medium that is able to focus the attention of an individual for that long. When we look at Asia as a region, it accounts for about over 50% of total revenue globally. I am John Lohr, a country manager for Riot Games Thailand. Yeah, so I think the gaming industry has evolved in many different ways. First off, particularly in Thailand and in Asia, we've seen a shift towards mobile as a platform. Riot first started as a PC platform game maker. And, as of recently and where we see this evolving towards is the fact that it's more than just a game. We see the intersection between entertainment, the intersection between community and competition, and people are looking for avenues of different ways of entertaining themselves. I also see the industry shaping more as gaming as a social component. Players today, they feel the need to be a lot more social than ever. Younger audiences and players alike continue to use gaming as a form to interact with each other. And it's a new form and medium of communication. Actually, you can talk within game, you can form teams, you do things together with other individuals and other players. And I think more importantly, you can meet like-minded people there. I've seen countless examples of players go and meet people for the first time, but never actually meet them physically in person. I think that level of sociability will continue to be extremely significant towards this generation. It's the new form of WhatsApp or Line. And I think it's important to understand that. Doesn't mean that I'm talking about players specifically, but this actually speaks towards the level of fandom and volume we see coming from esports. From the year 2021 to the next few years, we're going to see viewership nearly double in size. Year over year, we see from 2023 to 2024, a 50% growth in total views. At a given set point in time for our region across APAC, we see about 480,000 current viewers. Another also interesting part is that when we look at Asia as a region, it accounts for about over 50% of total revenue. Actually, Asia as a region, like the biggest region for esports activity and revenue making opportunities. For us, we see this from a macro approach, really interesting, has high potential. Thailand as a market, we've seen tremendous amount of potential. Player bases are growing, our players here are connected, super engaged with the games that we're playing. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, our viewership is very high. And that's something that I think we'll continue to see as the years go by. Some of the biggest challenges that I think the game industry faces is keeping players playing. There's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of games that are out there. It's a really good time to be a player, just simply because you have a lot of options. So as a game company or someone that's working within the industry, you want to always be fresh. You want to always try and be as innovative as possible. And you always want to actually speak to the core of our players and their hearts and minds and get them playing again. The history of Riot really started based on one game, which is a little game that turned very, very large called League of Legends. And usually in many different companies across the gaming industry, actually you create a lot of different games and you see one that works. But Riot's attention to detail is about actually making sure we build quality, we stand for it, and we live throughout it. And that's why we have, in the gaming world, something called the live service model, where we launch a game, we stick with it, we continue to build it, and continue to commit towards our community and our players worldwide. When we talk about games, it isn't just about playing games. Actually, it's way more than that. It's music, it's art, it's fashion, it's food. I think having a strong story is something that we continually prioritize. If you look at, one of our most prominent games, which is League of Legends, and you take the overall lore and narrative from this, you'll see a TV series called Arcane being created. It's an Emmy Award-winning produced series, but that's a very prime example of taking the game out of its space and really giving our players, or even non-players, right, fans of Arcane that maybe don't necessarily even play our games, a look and deeper insight into the League of Legends lore. When we launched Arcane, we had a series of experiences and activations that were Arcane themed. We launched an offline event called Arcane World, which was really driven towards activating that level of fan base and across many of our products and games like League of Legends, Wild Rift, and TFT. We feel it's entirely necessary to build up that as an ecosystem play. You know, some players come back into the game. Some players view that maybe jump towards esports as a form of a level of competition. Our position as in the intersection with entertainment is always really important. And you'll continue to see these types of collaborations in no matter what type of campaign we do. Well, I think you can see like the gaming industry being a lot more commercialized before. And I think also uniquely for other businesses to be a part of gaming. I think one part of gaming for traditional businesses that you probably already know already. When you have a game, you're interacting with a product, you're sitting in front of a screen, you're spending multiple hours there. There's a attention that you have within games that's probably not felt in other types of industries because you know you're sitting there and you have full attention from that person. So I think from a non-gaming industry perspective or a non-gaming company, having that attention right in front of yourself is uniquely actually a very interesting play. And you'll see gaming companies or maybe even advertisers at large scale areas, particularly on out of home now across BTS, SkyTrain. I mean, we just wrapped Pyeongpong Station with VCT Masters. And we see gaming as a form of mass entertainment. I mean, it's going to be larger than TV. Gaming is already there. I don't think there's any type of medium that is able to focus the attention of an individual for that long, especially in everything in this fast-paced movement. So as games commercialize, as companies begin to approach more mass audiences, I think they'll see this as just another gaming as a form of advertising and vice versa. Entertainment like esports is a complementary pillar towards the game. We view esports as a larger part of the ecosystem. It's kind of like any other traditional sport. When you see things on the big screen, you hopefully get inspired and you see a level of competition that hopefully sparks your own sense of being. We want esports to also act like that. And I think along the way, it's really important to build out the avenues where players can be able to be part of the watch experience and become a fan themselves. And we want to continuously support that. You know, players and individuals today can see this as a career. We try to run the gamut in terms of different levels of competition, from amateur level to professional level. And we want to give an avenue if you want to become a pro. An example of this that we were actually just talking about, a player called Primi. Primi had, against his mom's advice, Primi wasn't really necessarily thought of as taking a career in esports, and enrolled in one of our open tournaments, which is basically an open tournament for amateurs, and he won it. And that gave a lot of visibility towards what he does and what he's doing. And actually a really big part of that story is that now he's a professional player on Talon, which is a franchise team that is part of the overall esports. We've seen a lot of these types of instances of players and individuals looking at esports as a means towards doing something larger in their career. And I think as a Riot, we want to always be able to support and be committed towards that. Multiple ways, and we've done this through basically a VCT 2025 season capsule, where we're supporting via rev share opportunities, where people can buy skins within the game, and then within the skin revenue, you get sent back towards team revenue. we are very excited about VCT Masters. One, it's the first time it's ever coming to Southeast Asia. So this year marks a really big moment for all of us, especially here at Riot. But of course, this is a celebration for our Thai players. You know, VCT Masters is a global tournament that brings in professional players from all around the globe. At the same time, we have a lot of different experiences that we're really catering towards our Thai players. A collaboration with Millie, releasing a feature single together called One Punch. It will be released as part of the cinematic for Masters Bangkok. We have a simulated version of a night market, which we're all launching across Msphere. And we have a player and fan experience that we're also launching called Val Lobby, launching within Msphere as well. And we have a ton of meet and greets and activities and really interesting things that we have planned, from brand collaborations to food collaborations to many different ways that I think the fans will be really excited for. I think gaming is for everyone. Gaming, like entertainment, can be consumed and appreciated. The beauty behind gaming is that it allows you to express yourself in many different ways. When we look at the different ways and generations that get involved, it varies depending on your level of age. So for example, our games with Valorant, it's actually skewed quite a young generation, Generation Z. And these are individuals that really cater and align and really love the Valorant concept. You take players from the League side of things, and they might be 30 to 35 years plus because of League's legacy. It depends on you as an individual towards how you want to consume and be a part of that. I think for the future of us is that we'll continue to try and deliver the best possible experience for them. And, you know, whether that means intersecting with entertainment and building out the best music collaborations or art collaborations or fashion collaborations, but also delivering the best possible game experience that we can.